Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to get ahead of a few things because there were a few words that I've received that I didn't share in earlier stream, and I feel like I need to just say all the stuff that I've been getting, no matter how ridiculous and absurd it sounds. Because, like, the kind of thing that I was trying to do was trying to compile all the words I had gotten so it's coherent, and then talk about it later, right? But that doesn't seem to work, right? Or I feel like then it just sounds like nonsense. And so the reason I'm saying this is because a couple of days ago, on the 22nd to be exact, I received a word, right? And the word was Scorpion Oil Tanker Vision Turn Around. What makes you think you aren't a big dog? You are more powerful than you know. Checkmate, right? And I got this word and I was just like, oil tankers, of course, we all know what's going on in the Middle East. And I assumed, maybe something about that. Well, just now, check it out. I went over to YouTube, right? Hang on one second. And the gist of this, right, is the crew of a commercial ship in lifeboats after getting hit by a Houthi missile, defense official says, right? Um, it was an oil tanker that was lit by a missile and it had to evacuate its crew. And so I was like, is this what the word is about that, I had received? Now, there's no way to tell if it was Scorpion or something else, but also, like, one of the ways that God talks to me about oil tankers is by saying Scorpion oil tanker because of another reference we had in the beginning when I first learned about oil tankers, right? It was about Scorpion oil tankers. And so I don't know if that's just a symbol he uses to, like, let me know, or if it was an actual Scorpion, oil tanker. Now, a word I received on the 23rd, and I'm just going to go ahead and read all the ones I've gotten up until this point, because I want people to see God's glory, but also, yeah, like I feel like it would be a good testament for people that are in doubt or questioning, right? Um, on the 23rd, I heard some missiles being shot, but they sounded like cannons, right? Kind of like in the Hunger Games, you know how like a victor would like fall, there'd be like a cannon shot, right? So I heard four of these. Um, it was loud. It was like an echo. I hear that someone wants a child or someone to carry their child. There is not much care for the person other than that. I just want her to give me my child, wanting to impregnate a woman solely for physical attributes or characteristics. I'm not sure. At this time, I saw a latch door, like a wooden gate with a latch. And I'm not sure what that reference is to. Like, I'm not sure if that means like the person is leaving this ambiguous or open or something. Um, it was a very strange impression. Like, usually I get some that make total sense, right? But this was very odd because it was like those four cannons, this person, like the way I saw it was this person was telling another person, I don't care, I just want her to have my child. Like, that's all. Just give me my kid. Like maybe the lady was pregnant already, or like something like that. Maybe that's significant in the future, or maybe this is a metaphor, right? Um, Maybe someone is partnered up with someone else and all they want is this partner to give them their legacy or whatever, right? Um, I also saw shoes, Vans shoes or skater shoes. They don't have like a graphic design, but they're made of canvas almost, right? Um, Something I got as well was South Afrikaans. I'm not sure if it meant like South Africa. I just heard Afrikaans, right? Like the language. And then I heard missile home. So let's just note that, right? And then on the 24th, this is when I received the battle at Marathon word, right? An individual leaves on foot, run, very agile, was injured in the past, missing a limb, I see an arm. Was believed dead is actually alive. Disappeared? Question mark. A duffel bag, perhaps traveling or something, or moving from one location to another. The idea of travel is heavy. Like I saw, he's carrying a duffel bag, and he's missing a limb. Um, this person either went missing or has vanished or whatever. This person is alive. This person was believed to be dead, right? Strength. This person is a strong back. This person does good with bad means. I'm not sure if something in the news will come out with this person or if this is a message for that person, through the grace of God. Sometimes we find video, whatever, right? I'm not sure what this is about, right? But then I see two witnesses. There is a branch being pruned. Stick the landing. The score exceeds rubrics. The concept of using body tension / weight for strength. The javelin at 6 p.m. Cast. Home or a place. Arrival, the specific location, a house. A place in Palestine or Turkey. Now, on the 25th, why is this person in town or vice versa? To measure the depth. 5 p.m. Measure the depth of a specific body of water. Someone's appearance is changing to appear menacing. The key word is to appear. Philadelphia. Waiting on God's hand to take action instead of taking things in our own hands in our impatience. Story of the blessing of Isaac. Sarah wanted it to happen on her own time, but no, it was a blessing on God's time. He is not a man that he should lie. A son born in Albania, one believed not to arrive, a legacy, the white glowing light. Earthquake, something about an earthquake as well. That one like didn't really make sense to me. Um, and I just want to read all the ones that I've gotten because maybe it matters. Maybe someone knows what this means, and I haven't been able to confirm it. I'm not sure. There was one I got when I was like in the in between of sleep and stuff, and I heard like I was. It was like I was talking to God right when we were having a conversation, and it was like there will be a mass. There will be a fast food chain needing to mass hire due to shortage in workers. Something strange about not having enough employees or a mass exodus of employees. The next word is taking a miracle no matter how you can get it. A life is saved, the javelin is cast. Thrust vectors, hearing a lot of certain military campaign happening. Uh, the places of importance that the Lord wanted me to I guess, bookmark Ukraine, Albania, Algeria, Kurd. There's another country, A something. I don't know. I didn't get that one. Like, I was distracted at this point. Exceeding many missiles cast at once on target, rifle not wing based missile spin. Syria, possible collateral, possible victim of location. Tunisia and Turkey, contested territory. Let's see. This goes back to the Albania word, the something born there. Now, this could be an actual person, or this could be like a legacy or something amazing. Like it's shown to me as like a son, right? But that could also mean legacy, continuation of a line, or it could be a company, or it could be just the creation of something that has a legacy, right? So another word on Albania, a miracle amongst the rubble. Something is born, white glowing light, tears of joy. Um, Perhaps this is about a person that is popular, a celebrity, or in the limelight. Aplastic anemia, marrow transplant, medicine for rejection of new marrow. There's a long recovery process. Another word on missiles, thrust vector aids in changing direction, high speed thrust vector, rules of engagement. Also, an alcoholic will die soon. Leave the drink or it will leave you. Also, someone is going to be taken down. This individual will take everyone down with them. a situation of like, oh, if I'm going down, I'm taking as many of you as possible with me. Um, there is like a reference here to the Passover, but also like, you know what? I don't think it's time for that yet. I'm just gonna omit that. I do believe that God's hand is over whatever is happening, because there was a day where we were having a conversation and he told me I am the best company, right? And one of the things that I was telling him was like, oh my gosh, I spend all my time alone just with you, talking to you. Like, people probably think I'm crazy because I'm just, by myself and reclusive all the time. And I was making ice, right? I was making ice at this point in time. And so I'm like cracking the ice tray and I'm putting it in I'm putting the ice in another tray that's there in the freezer, right? And but there's like this big chunk of ice that I can't get broken. So then I have to like slam it and stuff. And meanwhile, this conversation is taking place in my head, right? And I'm just like, oh my God, people probably think I'm crazy. All I do is like, I'm by myself all the time, right? And he was like, well, aren't I the best company? And I was like, yeah, absolutely, right? But it was like, if you talk to God, he's funny, right? He cracks his jokes. And then he said, well, you broke the ice. And I was like, what are you talking about? Right. I was just like, oh my gosh, you're so silly. Like, whatever. Right. Like, like, I was just like, whatever. I ended up going to go watch Napoleon, right? The movie. And there's a scene where he leads everyone onto that frozen lake and then he throws cannons and then the ice breaks and they like fall in there. It's like an ambush, right? And I start laughing, right? And I'm like, huh, God said that, I was going to break the ice, right? Or that I broke the ice. And so I was like, that's funny. Like, what does that mean, God, right? Like, you're telling me that, I set something up, or like, what are you saying, right? And it was throughout the movie that I had forgotten, right? That company is another way of referring to a military unit composed of like 100 to 250 people, right? And then, well, as I'm watching this movie, right, and so someone mentions it, someone is like, oh, da, 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 the company, this, whatever. And then Jehovah said, I am the best company. And then it like clicked, and I was like, oh, you're my army. You're my military, right? You fight all my battles. And I started laughing again because something that I had been just talking about, and it's something that I also talked about in the other previous videos, is like, do we have the courage to surrender the bad things to God and allow him to fight our battles without it being on our time, right? And I was just laughing about it. I was like, man, you're so hilarious. Like, you're so funny, and you set it up so that it all makes sense when it's supposed to, right? It all makes sense when it's supposed to. And I don't know, I've just been reflecting on that. Around this time that this was happening, right? I was reminded of a dream I had. And in this dream, I'm in a military unit. I don't know, it was probably a Navy SEAL team or something like that, because there was only like 5 or 6 of us. And I remember I was the littlest one there. I was young, I was the only woman, but I knew we were in Iran. And in this dream, right, I had my leader there and I had my battle buddies, like my brothers in arms. And we were just running through the desert. And I remember like having flashes of my leader looking at me and talking to me and all this stuff. And um, he turned to me And God told me, this is your brother in arms, right? And I don't know why that's important, but God gave me that vision, right? And this person, I've worked with this person before, and I knew who he was, but like, I've never been to Iran or Iraq. I've never done that, but like, I got a vision about him, right? Like, God confirmed who he was to me. And then, you know, it was strange because I feel like I'm not very good at figuring people out. Like, I feel like I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt. And it usually backfires on me. Like, I always think people are great and they end up being like the worst. And then the Lord gave me a word, right? The evil we see as possible in others is the evil we recognize in ourselves, is what we project to others' reality, or the reality of ourselves projected onto another. Some fears are valid because of unknowns, others are projected. We must be wise to know when which is which. And this is when he showed me a video of a Navy SEAL that was talking about how he, killed a lot of people, and it was so normalized in those things, in that job, in that lifestyle, whatever you want to call it, and how much regret he was filled with when he killed one specific individual. This individual was like laying next to his wife. He killed him, right? And he said that like years after that, it still bothers him because he always wonders, if we were in any other place, would we have cracked jokes in the morning while we were out getting coffee at the coffee shop or something, right? And so that's when God told me, you know, in life, we want to take action because we believe that we know what the truth is, right? And it goes back to that word on, do you see an enemy as an enemy because you recognize the evil that you're capable of, right? And so he told me, do you want to ask yourself if you killed someone innocent because you decided to take justice in your own hands? Mind you, I've never thought about any of that. We were just having like a philosophical conversation about it, right? Because I was asking him, I've never been to war and I have all these dreams and da da da, right? And it was something that, I talked to him a lot about. And, that's when that video came out and that man was, giving his testimony on what that experience was like. And I told God, I was like, you know what? I'd rather not ask myself that. Like, I don't want to live life asking myself if I did something bad to an innocent person and if he and I would laugh at a coffee shop had we not been put in that context, right? And so I told God, I will be still. And in stillness, we will all know the truth, right? There's something to this, right? There's something to being an agent of change and taking justice into your own hands. And what does it mean for that? And oftentimes, I've had conversations with people about, you know, the role of women in exacting justice, right? Only because, there's so much corruption, there's so many good and bad people doing stuff, but it's also like it's proliferating all of society. And I've always told people, biblically God tells men to fight war. Like women could go give words or appeals or whatever, but I don't think it's natural for women to engage in war. Or at least if someone knows of a story, right, where God blesses someone to carry out war, then like by all means, let me know. Following that, the Lord told me that someone has a pocket full of evidence And this is a play on words. He said, an heir, or is it a hair? He then gave me a word of a very powerful family. And then he said, a family divided, a given sacrifice from one not yet ready. Just another villain origin story. Who will your parents return to find in your place? Someone whose light has left their eyes, and your anger against them will never cease, and you will know what they took from you for comfort. And could you ever forgive the betrayal of your parents, who took from you the love of your life for a good life? Reflect on this. They will reveal it to you when they are out of prison or near the end of the sentence. When he said, when they are out of prison or near the end of the sentence, I feel like that's another one of his double entendres, kind of like the company word. But I also haven't received any other words regarding that. And I actually got this, when's the date? Um, Mid December. So for all I know, it already happened, right? Um, but it's weird because I have some words that sometimes take like I counted it. It like usually it takes 2 months or 2.5 months to like come to pass, or 1.5 to 2.5 months, right? But this oil tanker one is the first time where it's been um 3 days before, 4 days before it happened. I don't know. Honestly, I don't even I don't know. Something's going on. I'm just trying to make sense of it because I feel like I'm going crazy, but also I feel like the Spirit of the Lord is upon all of us and we should pay attention.